What's up, gamers? It's Fatterday Saturday. Welcome to an episode of Seven Nights. We're going to talk about some updates because what do you guys want to hear? Everybody else complaining. So let's check it out. So before we get to the complaints, let's just see what everybody's about to complain about. So we're going to check out the update first and see everybody's complaints afterwards. So basically, last time on Seven Nights, they had the 94th update. They talked about some things, all that good stuff. But here on the 95th update, they're basically going over a new Awakened Hero, a new hero remake, raid revamped, which is a sore subject I'm hearing. New quest event, difficulty in daily dungeon, key currency tab separation, because apparently they actually listened to everybody's complaints, and so on and so forth. So let's get right to it. First thing is White Wolf Feng Yan. That's right, Feng Yan is now the newest of the Awakened crew. Let's see what he does. So first and foremost, I actually don't use him. It's not that I think he's bad. I think he's actually good. It's just that I have other preferences. But he overall he's always been decent at the very least. I think regularly he used to prevent cooldowns if I'm not mistaken, like messing up with your cooldowns when someone did it to you, and some other good things with crits and whatnot. So he's always been good. Let's see if he's better. So right now it shows okay. So I'm looking in red right now and it says in daily dungeon mode. So basically what's happened here is that they've turned him into a daily dungeon expert. So I'm noticing a pattern because this game is really good about telling you which heroes you should be using where. Like it says, you should use this person in raid, you should use this person in daily dungeon or PvP. Most mobile games of this type do not even give you clues. You have to just figure it out. This game basically spoon feeds you. How do I feel about it? I guess it's okay as far as people who don't have the capacity to mentally think about it and want to just be able to get stuff. It just makes it easier for those who don't really want to challenge or figure it out to just say, okay, here's my hero, good to go. But let's see what Feng Yan does now. He inflicts 50% magic damage on four enemies four times. This is his awakening skill. Not a bad skill, I guess. But in daily dungeon, it increases physical attack and magic attack for all allies by 100% 20 times. So basically, you're just supposed to deal like an extraordinary amount of damage whenever you do this. So basically, you get rid of their void shields, you activate his awakening skill, and then boom, just start annihilating. That's pretty much the point here. Passive skill becomes immune to all attacks for 4 turns, which is actually really, really good. Secondly, launches a basic attack and decreases the skill cooldowns of all allies by 10 seconds, which also applies to counterattacks and speed attacks. That's actually pretty good, not gonna lie. So basically, whenever he does a basic attack, which basically means anything that's not an active skill, he more or less lowers the cooldown of your allies by 10 seconds. So if someone else has been doing active skills and he does basic attacks or gets hit and he counters, boom, your counter's already going down, where you can keep spanning or spamming active skills a lot. So that's actually kind of cool. And in Daily Dungeon, increases the crit damage of all allies by 100%. Additionally, increases the lethal attack by 100%. So basically, he's making sure that everybody on your squad, whether they do crits or lethals, you're getting that damage in. So interesting passive ability, I have to say. Thousand Blades, one of his actives, basically inflicts 60% magic damage on all enemies 2 times. Additionally, increase the damage by 60% each time an enemy dies. Additionally, ignore the enemy's defense. So being able to ignore defense is good. You just got to get around Void Shields. And then the last active skill inflicts 600% magic damage on one enemy, which is a lot of damage, by the way. Additionally, piercing will take effect and ignore the enemy's defense. That's good. This is the one-shot kill move right here. So that's a pretty legit skill. You have piercing and you ignore the defense. That skill is an auto kill in arena, assuming that you hit the right target. And then now for revamped Diachon. So in the past, I always thought Diachon had a lot of potential. I actually leveled her to 40. I was like, she might be decent. But unfortunately, she just wasn't good enough. I tried her like in arena, I tried her in just all kinds of different modes, and honestly, she just wasn't doing it. But I'm glad that this game is smart enough to recognize that certain heroes are just, not good enough, and so they revamp them every now and then. It's a very smart thing that a lot of other mobile RPGs can learn from. Moving along, so what is she actually worth it now? So her passive ability, keep in mind she's not awakened. This is just an update. Her passive ability increases the magic attack of all allies by 40% and becomes immune to all damage for 2 turns. The being immune to damage for 2 turns is huge. Yeah, a lot of people that can remove debuffs is going to get rid of it, but in the past she never had it to begin with. So this gives her a little bit of a head start to where she doesn't just auto die. So that's actually fantastic. I also just noticed and read in daily dungeon mode, which means now she's another character that's now going to be a daily dungeon expert. Now, I don't know if you've seen the pattern here, but basically, eventually they're going to have a total of 5 heroes that are going to be daily dungeon experts, and those are going to be your 5 you're going to be using at all time to beat hell mode and things like that. So so basically, they decided to put her somewhere where she'll be effective. I appreciate that. The for first active skill, it recovers all allies by 200% of magic attack. So healing, and then the Song of Protection, her other active skill protects all allies from damage 1 time, which also applies to ignore armor and piercing attacks, similar to what it was in the past. But in daily dungeon mode, which is the important part here, it says all allies become immune to damage 6 times, which is pretty good. This effect also applies to ignore armor and piercing attacks. Additionally, becomes immune to debuffs 3 times, which is also huge. So yeah, she's really, 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 really good in Daily Dungeon. I'm glad that they gave her an update. Don't expect to see her in Arena or anything else. Just level her to 46, put her in Daily Dungeon, and get all your goods. That's actually probably what I'm going to do, because I actually do have her at level 40, because I was going to actually try to make her good. So now that I'm already got a head start, I'm just going to push her to 46, put her in Daily Dungeon, and let her go nuts. Moving right along. New costumes for those who care. You have Feng Yan. I mean, you should expect this. He is the awakened hero. He's going to have a new costume. Of course, there's one hero that did not get a costume, which we discussed in the last video. And then, of course, they actually have a new outfit for Roro. Now, I actually bought this outfit only because I never actually bought an outfit for her, and I plan on using her in the future. I actually think she has a lot of potential. She's really, really good for your mage team, so I think that once I get her to 46 and select others, I am going to build a mage team and see what happens in Arena. So I decided to buy an outfit for her. Might as well be prepared whenever it happens. But I won't be using her right now because she is too low in terms of, level and whatnot. At least for me. They have basically a new raid content revamp, is what they're calling it. Now, I haven't read the comments below, but according to my guildmates, this is actually a horrible update. They don't like this at all. So in the past, as y'all know, you can do the awakening raid, get your awakening items with your teams, or you can spawn a dragon or fight other people's dragons, and then as you summon or as they summon, and then just do your thing, move on. Well, here they changed it a bit. So now apparently there's a gauge, it looks like. So let's read about it. As we previously mentioned in the developer notes, the raid content has been revamped and you are able to check the detailed information through the link below. I don't really think I want to check the link below, but we're just going to kind of breeze through it. So in Planet Adventure mode, you are able to summon a destroyer gauge by changing the gauge. So basically, you can make it to where it spawns, I guess, X amount of fights. And not only does that happen, but you're also able to select the level of the destroyer gauge you wish to summon. And then, so basically, you can, from what the picture shows, the max is level 10 now. So I'm assuming that level 10 is probably equivalent to a level 100. I'm pretty sure they scaled each level times 10, since there's no longer a level 99 dragon, is my assumption. So let's see if that's the case. So Awakened Raid has been removed and integrated to normal raid. Oh, okay. Destroyer Gate's max level has been changed to 10. 3 types of raid reward chests are available. Destroyer Gate's animation has been minimized. And you can substitute heroes during the battle since the raid team can be separated into main and support. Interesting. Previous raid teams has been reset, so you will need to set a new raid team. Okay, so basically, I guess everything's blanked out, so you're probably going to have to start over, resetting your new team. Hopefully, you remember what your setup was. You can instantly summon a destroyer gaze by using gold, and the gold cost increases with each instant summon. So I wonder how much it's going to cost. I have a feeling it's going to cost a lot, and it won't be worth it. And again, according to my guildmates, it's not worth it. And the reason that I take what they say seriously is because when we first started this guild, the majority of us who have been around since the beginning were mainly focused on doing well in raid and castle rush. So since we focus so much on raid, we pretty much know what teams to use, what people to use, and whatnot. And we've actually been able to benefit a lot from raiding because we basically are a dragon raiding guild, which is why we're called the Dragon Knights. That's why I renamed the guild once my girlfriend gave me the guild. So seeing that my guildmates do not like this is it's kind of weird. I mean, I guess the fact that you can spend gold to instantly summon one, I guess, is convenient if you like hoard a lot of gold. But personally, I'd rather spend my gold on other things like fusing, like leveling people love, ranking people love to fuse them. And other things. I mean, I don't really need another outlet to spend gold, so I'm probably not going to do this so much. Um, I don't know. It's a little weird. So I'll have to just play with it to see if it's good or not. And there might be some complaints below. We'll see. So Feng has missions. So to celebrate Feng awakening, we have prepared a special event. So basically, what this is, I can already tell. You do certain things in the game, like play an arena, daily dungeon, things like that, and you get rewards. And you get like points plus a reward. And then once you get so many points, you gain more rewards. So basically, this is something that they do quite often anytime they do something with a new hero. And it's actually kind of good because it provides you extra way to gain resources. This game is a very generous and giving game. Anybody who complains that you have to spend money to do well in mobile games. This game is the exception. Now, granted, yeah, if you spend money, you're going to be at the top. But people who don't spend money are still competitive because of all of these freebies. The game rewards you for playing the game, and that's probably the best thing about this game, in my opinion. Moving on. So basically, it shows the accumulation point rewards and what you can get. And it's actually worth doing. Getting a 6-star 4 Lord of Old selector is pretty ridiculous. Getting an Awakened Shard for heroes times 50, that's pretty ridiculous too. The 6-star Revolutionary item selector, I don't really care about, but it's an extra item, so nothing. It's not bad either. But I'm definitely into the selector as far as the 4 Lord of Old and then the Awakening Shards because I'm a collector, so I do want to awaken everyone eventually. Moving right along. Special dungeons, new difficulty, nightmare. So basically, we had, I think at one time we had easy, normal, and hard. Then we had normal, hard, and hell. Now we have normal, hard, hell, and nightmare. Unless I got rid of normal, I'm not sure. Um, but either way, I'll be honest with you, I don't even play on hell mode, except on the one day where you can get a ton of gold. Because I can actually do that kind of easily, and gold is the thing that I usually need the most of because I do so much. So I'll try the gold one for Nightmare and see if I can beat it. But as far as the other ones, I'm not even gonna waste my time on it. At least until I awaken all the specific specialists for the special dungeons. And this is pretty much the reason why they've given Feng Yan the whole specialist and daily dungeon and Diachan to help you if you're having difficulties with Hell Mode and of course Nightmare. So these are going to be must-have heroes along with Rory and anybody else you decide to use. So I'm definitely going to be making a team. Probably going to be using Dellins because I have him at 46. He, is really good at helping everybody else deal damage. Plus, he deals a ton of damage himself. Good survival ability. So you can build a really solid team and probably do well if you really try. The reason I didn't really do Hell on the other days for elements is because you get a 4-star element whether you beat it on hard or Hell. So I figured why waste so much effort and time doing Hell when you can get the same thing for hard mode. Now the main difference though is you'll get more awakening shards, but with how generous the game has become with getting awakening shards, I don't think it's worth doing Hell mode just for the shards. But doing Nightmare mode, if we're able to do so to get that 5-star element, is completely worth it. As a matter of fact, I'm to the point where I almost don't even need 4-star elements. I have like 20 or 30 just sitting around doing nothing. I would rather just have a bunch of 5-star elements myself, so that whenever I fuse, because I fuse a lot, I can just boom pop them out. Because I typically don't rank people up from like 3 or 4 stars these days, unless it's like a special hero, like a 7 Knight or something. Then I'll rank them up from 4 stars up. But other than that, typically I only rank people up from 5 stars if it's a hero I absolutely need, and that's really really rare. So I'm glad that finally you can get a 5-star element, but it's going to be hell to do. Thus the whole nightmare thing. But it's going to be a while before I even attempt that, with the exception of the gold one, because I think I can actually do that. Moving along. So far as you can tell, I have no problem with this update so far, except for the raid thing. But I'm actually just on the fence about it. My guild doesn't like it, but I haven't really tested it myself. Dungeon information basically tells you, how much it costs to do re-entry for as far as rubies and daily dungeon tickets. I typically don't buy daily dungeon tickets, but sometimes you can just get them as giveaway rewards that the game gives out from time to time. So save them up and then use them for whatever day you need it for, which in my case is usually gold. And this basically tells you what Nightmare is going to look like for each day. So on Monday, you're going to have some Awakening Heroes, which actually looks pretty rough. Then Tuesday, more Awakened Heroes. Uh, Wednesday, you actually have to fight against a 7 Knight and a 4 Lord. Wow, okay. And then Thursday, you also have a 7 Knight, some Awakened Heroes. And then Friday, more ridiculous 4 Lords, Hidden Masters. Like, it's pretty nuts. And then, of course, Saturday, which is the one day that I do hell mode on because I go for gold. I'm going to try this on Nightmare to see if I can do it. Probably not today on video, but I'm going to be trying it off screen. With all the talking I'm doing, I'm probably not going to have time to try it. And then for Sunday, we're looking more at, yeah, just some more Awakening Heroes. A lot of death here, it looks like. Oof. We'll hope we ever have a Karen available, that's for sure. Well, so basically, if you want to pause it at certain points to see what you're going up against, there you go. Here's another thing that a lot of you might actually like and care about. Special Hero Summon Chessboard has now added Yan He, which is a very, very popular hero to use in arena. Like, she's been dominating. From what people are telling me, people are getting high ranks with her just being level 32 or 34. So that's pretty nuts. So now people have a chance to constantly get her over and over and over because of this. Because well, a lot of people don't know, and something I failed to mention, and I feel bad about this, is that this right here, the whole special hero summon, is the easiest and most guaranteed way to get a 7 Knight or 4 Lord or just a special hero in general. Reason being is that the way the special hero summon works is because at first I just assumed that it was somewhere randomly on the board, and if you happen to be lucky to click on it, you get it. I was wrong. So what I found it out on accident first, but someone else that was used to be in my guild confirmed it, that you actually have to summon X amount of times. I'm not sure what the number count is, and if you know the count, please comment and leave a comment so everybody knows. But basically, if you do so many summons by spending rubies and topaz, it's going to cost you rubies and topaz to do this. But if you're diligent and just focusing your rubies and topaz on this, you will guarantee get one if you are diligent enough. The way to do it, and this is basically how I've been doing it, is that every day when you go to Special Hero Summon, you pay 10,000 gold for your first summon and then pay 40 rubies and 4 topaz to get your second summon. Now, you can do a third summon, but it's going to cost more. If you do it like within the same day, it's going to cost you 80 rubies and 8 topaz, which in my opinion is not worth it. Unless you just get rubies and topaz like it's nothing, then go ahead. But basically, if you just do the special hero summon twice per day, you will eventually get whichever you picked before the event ends, assuming you do this every day. So you don't have to just, blow your load on the same day. Just be patient and diligent about it. Spend 40 rubies a day, 4 topaz a day, and you will be able to get this hero. Now, this is going to be one of those things where having May's Lucky Box for when you get rubies and topaz will come in handy. Because if you don't have that kind of a package, I don't know how possible this will be for you, especially if you're not the kind of person that gets rubies and topaz very easily. I have provided lots of tips on how to do it, but if you're not able to, then this might not be the tip for you. But for those of you who do are able to keep a good supply of rubies and topaz on a more consistent basis, this is the best way to guarantee your summon. Instead of having to spend 250 rubies to get something random, you can just dedicate X amount of rubies and topaz each day and eventually get one within, I'm not sure if it's like 2 weeks or a week. I forgot exactly how long these things last, but eventually you will get it. And I have tested this and it has worked for me every time. I just don't know exactly what the count is, and the game doesn't really tell you. So add Yun He if you want to get good in arena. Get as much of her as you can. It'll take a while, but it is doable. Unless you just want to try and getting lucky, you can spend 250 rubies and hope you get her. Good luck to you. And this basically just tells you the rewards for doing a special summon. So 20 times gets you an element, 40 is a Valikia, 60 is an element selector, 80 is a armor, and 90 is a weapon. So somewhere between, I want to say, 40 and 60 might be where you can actually for sure get what you're looking for. At least that's how it's happened for me. And I may be a little bit off, and maybe not a specific number, but if anyone knows specifically, let me know. But I'm pretty sure that whoever you're trying to get is not in a specific spot. So don't expect to just spend 10,000 gold a day and get one. I've never gotten it, I've tested that, it doesn't work. Moving along. So, convenient feature improvements. Overall increased stats through Limit Break will show. It shows on this screen, but it also shows in Guild Wars. So when you're trying to pick who you're trying to fight against, it'll actually show you at a certain part of the screen what percentage of limit break that hero has, which will help you determine if it's worth fighting that person or not. I actually have a few people that are limit broken myself at 100%, so that's pretty cool. Good to know. I think it's a decent update. And then the key tab has been separated. So key tab has been added to the inbox, and keys will now be delivered to the new key tab. So apparently, a lot of people complained about this, and they listened. Wow, they actually said, you know what, fine, just to keep everybody from complaining about this key scenario, we'll go ahead and separate it, which is interesting. I'm really surprised that they actually decided to make that adjustment. I guess there's a lot of people who hated the whole key thing being like bunched up with everything else. Personally, I had no problem with it, but I guess it was that much of an outrage that I guess the developers said they had to make it happen, and they're trying to make the people happy, which is good. It actually shows that the developers actually care about their players, so that means something. Battle effects on and off. So basically, if you don't want to see all the battle effects, just turn it off. Simple as that. And these are just ways to spend money, which I'm not going to push, with the exception of Maze Lucky Box. Um, Special Hero Summon Package basically tells you what you can get. Special Accessory Summon, which is actually pretty cool. Accessories are good. They're items that typically help boost your ability to inflict status effects through normal attacks, or they do other things. So these, it's actually good that you can get accessories. Um, These cost 40 rubies to do so, and Guardian Rings are not an option, because apparently it's the most rare item you can get. Alice's accessories is now a part of, like, when you spend money, you get the whole accumulation reward. Well, accessory tickets is the reward this time, and this is actually one of the better rewards, so that's a good update. New pet and hero acquisition rate up. So Ryan, you can get easier. Big Toe and Hudson, you can get easier. Ray buff heroes, these are the people that you can use. Havania, Ariel, Neza, and Chow are the ones that you can currently use to get a bump in the raid. So I guess that's why they were saying earlier that you can make adjustments due to whatever the special hero is for that time. Moving down, you have the new ban list. I didn't mention this last time, I don't think, but the last ban list, I had no banned heroes that I use in Arena. So I was able to just freely destroy in Guild War. It was great. I did have one ridiculous, stupid loss, but I'm not going to talk about it. But Miho is banned right now, or restricted. So I'm just replacing her with uh, Alicia, because it does almost the same thing. I mean, she reduces, buff durations. She increases skill cooldown. She does a lot of the stuff that Miho does. So it's a pretty good swap as far as I'm concerned. So I'll keep moving. And this is just some miscellaneous stuff. Maze Lucky Calendar has ended. Daily Dungeon Double Awakening Shards has ended. which makes sense. So now it's time to look at everyone's complaints. So a lot of you probably fast forwarded to like 25 minutes just to hear me talk about this because you didn't want to hear me actually talk about the update. All right, here's what you've been waiting for. First comment, what the fuck? That's a good way to start. Awaken Fang Yan as dungeon specialist? Are you kidding me? What about Ruri? You guys just straight out dumped her. Poor people who decide to awaken her. What the heck? And that's not even a good awakening skills. You guys just treat him like when MHCC got their lackluster awakening. So basically, he's complaining. He says that Feng Yang actually sucks now, and making him a dungeon special is worse. And apparently, he's under the impression that he's now the replacement for Ruri, which is not the case. As I said before, Ruri and Feng Yan are supposed to go hand in hand in tandem together, not as a replacement. So I'm not really feeling this complaint. I'm pretty sure there is a good reason why the Fang Yang update might not be as good as he's saying, but he's not providing the right point. So his point sucks. Moving along. Oh, it says this is so wrong. Well, I'll just wait here for angry mob to do their job. So basically, he's just trying to start shit. He's trying to be the first person to start a riot, more or less. Good luck on that. Next person says, "Are you kidding me? You changed Fing into a magical backliner because you wanted to change Pascal into an arena hero, and then you awaken him and make him a daily dungeon specialist? You guys are horrible to Fang and your community half the time." I also don't like this comment because he's basically saying that Fang Yang is now supposed to replace Pascal in Arena. All right, first and foremost, the reason Pascal is not good in Arena is because he does no defense. There are so many other mages that are actually better than Pascal. Now, don't get me wrong, when he first dropped, I mean, it was very intimidating, the whole 2000 fixed damage and the buff removals. But the thing is, he dies so easily. Feng Yang was not the replacement. Yeon He, Yuri, um, Chloe, those are replacements for Feng Yan. Not Feng Yan. Those are replacements for Pascal, not Feng Yan. Feng Yan was not meant for Arena to begin with. He was actually meant for Raid, and he was also, you know, decent in adventure mode. At no point in time was Fang Yang, as far as I could tell, was that great in Arena to begin with. Even when he was brand new, like people were still destroying him. So no, don't get me wrong. Fang Yang was not terrible, but Fang Yang was more of a raid hero, not an arena hero. So this point is actually complete BS and is wrong. So this one also means nothing. So moving along. Disappointing update as always. This is a bad way to complain because you don't even really say why it's bad. So this comment means nothing. Also, this person says hashtag the game is dead. That's also wrong. If the game was dead, there wouldn't be thousands of people playing this game and spending money. So, and that I'm not a hashtag guy either, so I'm not impressed. Moving along. Next person says, not really though. I found a good team for a daily dungeon. Fang Yang damage dealer. Worry for damage received and defense drop and sub damager. Dio-chan as protector. Evan for defense and buff. Lena and or Dellins or Karma for damage buff. So this person makes a good point. He's basically supporting the fact that Feng Yang was actually not a bad update. It does help Daily Dungeon. And he doesn't replace Ruri, but he goes in tangent with Ruri, which is exactly what I was saying to begin with. So Fang Yang, Ruri, Dio-chan, who are the specialists. Evan, I'm actually going to try this team, though. So those three, with Evan, I'll try him. And then you can use Lena, Dellins, or Karma as damage buff, which I'll use Dellins because mine is, awakened and, fully equipped. I'm going to try this team. So thank you. I want to personally thank you, Yuka, for setting this up because I'm actually going to try this and see how good it is. And you actually made a good point. So thanks for supporting actually this being a good update instead of complaining like 90% of the world. Moving along. I like when people actually say good things. Thanks for the free Miho. You're welcome because Miho is awesome. Moving along. Has nothing to do with the update, by the way, but it doesn't matter. Nice update. I like the Nightmare Daily Dungeon, lol. It's so hard. I can't even pass the first stage. Need to awaken Fang Yang Dio-chan Ruri for the win. Overall, nice update. GM, good job. I agree. I actually think this is a decent update. It's nice to see that not everybody is complaining. Thank God. Well, alright. actually a better day today for episodes. Once again, the devs managed to ruin an awakened hero. Here we go again. Out of Daily Dungeon, the unawakened Fangan is stronger than the awakened one. Thanks for the awakened specialization, or rather limitation. So explain to me how his awakening is worse for Daily Dungeon than it is without it. He doesn't even explain it. So this is another reason that if you're gonna make a comment to say that you made it worse, explain why it's worse. Provide facts. Don't just say it sucks and expect us all to believe it like we're dumb idiots. God, people. Anyway, moving along. Next person says disappointed. Ooh, more complaining. I love Fang Yang for Dragon Rage, which is a good. He was what he was for. This guy, okay, he might actually have a good point because he just recognized the fact that he was made for Rage. So moving along, I love Fang Yang for Dragon Rage and was waiting his. I was waiting his awakening, but now it's screwed up my, not our, expectations. The problem is Fang Yang before Awaken has critical buff on Thousand Blaze, and that really helps a lot. It coupled with speed weapons plus the CD reduced buff from his passive. Now, this is his awakening stats made him more and way nerfed a lot. What the point of piercing when even his void shield is not immune to piercing? Rory awakened way more better than his Fang Yang. Still, nah, never mind. Enough of the rant. Basically, you kill his before awakened early best ulties as DPS on Dragon Raid. Now Dragon Raid's main DPS only stacked with two physical dealers as best DPS. I wish there was one magical best DPS on Raid, and yet this crushed that hopes. P.S. At last, Global stop abusing beach themed costumes. Okay, so, and then of course there's a little video here, which I'm not going to play because it's going to ruin my recording. But, even though he's complaining, he actually makes valid points. First and foremost, he explained that he was originally a Dragon Raid hero, which is what I said near the very beginning of this when we got to him. He recognized that and then provided actual facts and good reasons as to why this update was not good for him. So basically, what he's saying here is that he went from being a really good magic damage dealer for Raid, now he's just someone you can use in Daily Dungeon. So, in other words, I actually like this complaint because he actually uses thought and logic, and he uses points, and he says he actually complains properly, with the way you should complain, not just make stupid statements that don't really match and make a lot of sense. So this guy, even though he's complaining, he makes very solid points, which is why I can accept this complaint. So thank you, CM Aaron. Thank you. Now, so yeah, so basically, what they should have done, since he made this good point, is maybe made somebody else an expert in Daily Dungeon and let him stay as the only magical raid damage dealing hero. This guy has a good complaint, very very good point. So I will give shout outs to CM Aaron. That way, even though it's a complaint, it's a good one. Finally, someone who can complain properly. All right. Anyway, so yeah, I don't bash everyone that complains, just almost everyone, because people can't complain properly. All right, so he can still be used in Daily Dungeon and TOA. He can still be a good DPS. It's even better than his Unawakened. And did you read that correctly? Just compare it to the Korean servers and see who's better. His first skill and second skill is better than Korea's, which I'm assuming KR is Korea servers. His second skill is definitely better than his Unawakened because it's 120% damage plus 60% for each enemy dies and ignores defense, which is a good point. That's a lot better than his Unawakened. It's a lot better than his Korean counterpart. In Korea, his second skill doesn't have ignored defense. His first skill got piercing. Now his first skill has piercing now, and all of that is not on the red text. The red text are only buffs. In Korea, he has block rate down Awaken skill. We have Helenia for that, and with the current Castle Rush, we still need Helenia. Increased critical damage, and we have Awaken Lena for that. And right now, Awaken Lena is also a staple hero in most PvE content. So basically, he's shutting down all the people who keep complaining about it. He also makes pretty decent points. So finally, it's not everybody just complaining, but there's people who have, good complaints, but people who are also able to come up with facts as to why this is good. I still say overall this was, a good bump for Feng Yan, but I do agree that it kind of does take away from him being a dragon race specialist. What I think happened is when they made Feng Yan, maybe he wasn't meant to be good in raid, and it just kind of accidentally worked out that way. So to correct it, they made him a daily dungeon specialist. That's my theory, but I could be wrong. But man, some people today actually got some solid points. It's like people actually watch my videos and want me to actually like say stuff on here and let them know. Another person says another one besides Ruri. Unawakened Ruri is also stronger outside of daily dungeon. Look at her normal skills. Okay, I don't understand what this person's saying. So another one besides Ruri, eh? Well, yeah, because you need multiple people to be able to beat Hell Mode and Nightmare now. So yeah, another one besides Ruri. And then Unawakened Ruri is also stronger outside of Daily Dungeon. Wrong, because Ruri actually has been used a lot more now that she's been awakened. Because in Arena, people are using the crap out of Ruri, whereas for the longest time she was kind of forgotten. So no, you're also wrong, and you've proven no facts. You haven't said why or any details as far as what's going on. You are absolutely wrong. Moving on. Oh, that's it. Oh, good. Because I was about to just have a heart attack with some of these people who can't make solid arguments. So overall, from the comments, though, it seems like the big debate is over Fang Yan. Is Fang Yan actually better or worse? If you actually wish to have your opinion, you know, known on my channel as far as for me to read, feel free to make a comment and just say, hey, I think Fang Yan is good. The Awakening for Fang Yan is good because of this. Or you can say, no, I think it's bad because of this. And if you're going to comment about that, make sure you actually provide some thought, some logic. Like some of the people that I highlighted today that I gave props to, whether they were complaining or not complaining, at least those ones specifically had good points. I don't mind people disagreeing with me. I don't mind people complaining as long as they're valid complaints. And this is pretty much what these videos have been about lately, is me pointing out people who either know how to complain or don't know how to complain. But this is actually, in my opinion, one of the best episodes I think I've come up here, just because it had nothing to do with me first and foremost. But this is really driven off of you guys. So as long as you guys keep commenting on, at least on this game, I will definitely be reading these off every week. Now that I have a new schedule, I actually might start doing these videos on the morning of, because I've been actually doing these on Saturdays lately because my schedule just is too weird for it. But starting next week, I'll actually be able to do the updates. These videos on Thursday morning is the plan, unless something just happens, and then all will be well. So thank you guys for watching this video. I hope that this was either at least entertaining or informative. I'm more of the informative type. I'm not much of an entertainer myself, so I hope that you learned something. I hope that I got your brain juices going so that if you have an opinion, actually think about it and provide some good reasons as to why. And for those of you who actually post on this page that I keep reading from, if you're going to complain, please come up with good reasons. Don't just make up something and expect me to believe it, because I'm going to call you out on it. And I'm definitely going to do that. So, well, hopefully you enjoyed the video. I'm going to go ahead and cut it off here. We'll see you guys next week. Happy Fatter Day Saturday. Take it easy.